Hello, welcome to everydayhdr.com. My name is Blake Rudis, and today I want to talk about PhotofxLab, in particular High Pass Sharpening in PhotofxLab. The reason why I want to touch on PhotofxLab is that doing Photoshop tutorials all the time can be kind of daunting to some of those individuals that maybe don't have Photoshop. And there are other options out there, and great alternatives actually. And one of those is PhotofxLab. The great part about PhotofxLab is that if you have any other products by Topaz Labs, all of those products show up right here. You can click on those products and go right into Topaz Adjust 5 and then go right back into PhotofxLab, so you have complete control over your workflow. Now, one of the things that I love in Photoshop is a high pass sharpen layer. It's a great way to pull out some detail and really make, especially an image like this with these rocks on here. You're going to see it in a couple seconds here, but really pulls out that detail, really makes it look great. But you can do that very simply and very easily right here in PhotofxLab. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into this. The thing about high pass sharpen layers is that what you really are trying to create is a grayscale image that just has the detail extracted. And you'll see how that works in a second here. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl J. If I click on the layer, do Ctrl J when you click on the layer, or you can click duplicate down here. All depends on how you like to roll. I am a workflow efficiency type person. I like to use shortcuts and hotkeys. I'm going to call this layer High Pass because I'm going to show you something else in a second here. So now that layer is renamed, I'm going to zoom in really close. I want to go like 150% here, and I'm going to zoom in right here to these rocks right in the front. So you see these rocks could potentially have a lot of detail, but they are missing that detail right now. So we want to extract that by using a high pass sharpen layer. First and foremost must be a grayscale image. So don't forget to decrease the saturation. Just do it first. Knock that saturation all the way down. Keep the exposure at 0. Now we're going to reduce the contrast. We're going to keep the dynamics the same at 0. I'll show you something else, pardon me, that you can do with that in a second. Increase the sharpness. We're going to decrease the highlights, increase the shadows, decrease the whites, and increase the darks. So we're basically neutralizing all the darks and all the highlights in this by increasing the highlights all the way up to their max in the dark side, and then increasing the blacks all the way up to on their white side. You see the difference there? Now, what we're going to do is make the magic happen. All you have to do from here is go to the blending option. You're clicked on this layer, go to blending options, or blending mode, and click on soft light. So let's go to before and after. You might not be able to see it right now. Before, this is after, this is before. Look at the amount of detail that's starting to be extracted here in these rocks. They look like rocks now. They don't look like someone tried to sculpt them in clay. They look like real rocks. Now, you might be thinking, well, why would I do all that work when I could just increase the sharpness layer? So I'm going to show you the difference. I'm going to duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl J. I have the eyeball switched off on the layer right here, on my high pass layer. So now, if I increase the sharpness, let's just increase it to something high, like 50. That works, right, mid-range. Really look at these rocks. This is the regular sharpness. This is the high pass sharpen. It's a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit cleaner. You get a little bit more detail extracted from it. Let's increase that sharpness up to 100 now. Now it's a little too strong. If I go to 75, still not as good as something like the high pass sharpen layer. Alright, now, another important part. I'm going to go and delete this. Let's talk a little bit about sharpening and what it does to background, foreground, and middle ground. So you see here, this image is perfect for showing this. It's got a clear and present foreground, which is this archway in front of me, clear and present middle ground, which is the archway behind it, and then a clear and present background. So what I want to do is, I've sharpened this whole thing, but look what happens when we zoom into the trees. I mean, they look nasty. They look like something out of a really nasty storybook, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second too. So let me go ahead and click on the mask section of the high pass sharpen layer. Now my brush, I'm going to start with black. Now I want to make sure the flow is at 1.0. The hardness I want to be at like 0.65. So I want a really hard brush, but I also want it to be soft on the sides. So I don't want it to be 100% hard, because if it's, well, that didn't sound right. If it's at 100% hardness, what we get here is a very hard edge. I want that edge to be kind of tapered off. So let's go to 0.65. All right. Now I'm going to paint in black on the areas in the very back of the photograph, the background area. I don't want that to have the high pass sharpen on it. So what I'm going to do is click and just kind of paint on that area. You see how it's starting to get faded out back there? That's exactly what I want, because that's exactly how that photograph looked to me. It's basically mimicking what our eyes see at this point. Our eyes will see a basic foreground, a basic middle ground, basic background. So when you have that all painted in, you're looking at your area here, it's all painted in black. If you decrease the flow to, let's say, 0.5, what you're doing now is painting in grayscale. So essentially, this high pass sharpen is going to have half the effect that it did before. And now I'm going to paint that middle ground with that area. I'm going to get the grass, I'm going to get everything. I want this to be a smooth transition between what's in the foreground, middle ground, and background. I don't want to paint on that black area that I painted before, so be kind of cautious of that. And just really just kind of roughly trace that area with your paintbrush. So as you can see now, let's go ahead and zoom out. We've got a nice high pass sharpen layer that really pulls out that background layer, or foreground layer I should say, and transitions into the back. So now we're creating depth. We're creating depth not only with any adjustments that we've done, because I haven't even done any adjustments to this yet. I've created depth with just my sharpened layer. So now I'm going to duplicate this layer and just kind of polish it up a little bit. I might go ahead here and increase exposure a little bit, increase the dynamics a little bit to bring out some of that dark area within those rocks. Contrast, it's not looking like it doesn't need to be too much more contrast. I'll just go ahead and leave that at 0. Sharpness, don't want to touch sharpness because I already did sharpness on the high pass sharpen layer, right? Highlights, we can bring those highlights out a little bit. Let's see what happens here. Because what I want is, I want an area that's light in the front, that your eyes go to in the front, because this area back here is very bright. It pulls your eye into that area, so I want to offset that by maybe pulling in some of the highlights from around the front. So I'll go ahead and do that here. Go ahead and pull in those highlight areas. What that also does is help blow this area out in the back, which would naturally happen with your eye as well. So we can also increase the shadows a little bit. I like to pull my slider all the way to the left, all the way to the right, see what the effect is on both sides, and then kind of just find a happy medium somewhere. And typically if I do this, if I go back and forth and then just kind of stop somewhere, I'll naturally stop where I think it looks good. That's just something that I do. You can do however you want to do. Everyone's workflow is different. You don't have to do mine. Now, the high pass sharpen layer, you want to make sure that that one's on the top. For this, you're basically making a sandwich. This high pass sharpen layer will affect everything below it. If we take the layer that we just did here, when we duplicated the bottom layer, and move it above that high pass sharpen, we don't have a high pass sharpen anymore, because this one takes precedence over the other one. So make sure that that's below it. High pass sharpen's on the top. And that's your basic high pass sharpening in PhotofxLab. Very powerful tool here with PhotofxLab. Very affordable, $79.99. Perfect price for someone who really wants to post-process their photographs with some dignity, but at the same time does not really want to get their feet wet with something like Photoshop, because it's extremely intimidating. But you can see just with the small little effects that I did there, we really boosted this photograph. Let's look at the before and after again. There's the before. No depth. It's dry. Has no depth on the scale of shadows and highlights, and it has no depth when it comes to sharpening as well. We just went ahead and fixed that with this one right here. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you would like a copy of PhotofxLab, you can go to www.topazlabs.com and you can find it right there on their website. Again, it's only $79.99, and if you buy any other products with it, they go right here into PhotofxLab, so you can use those however you please. Again, this is Everyday HDR. My name is Blake Rudis, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned something. Maybe even got some inspiration to start post-processing your photos if you don't do it already. Have a great weekend, everyone.